Nights at Freddy's is directed by Emma Tammy and stars Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, Elizabeth Laley, and Matthew Lillard, and tells the story of a recently fired and desperate for her work, a troubled young man named Mike agrees to make a position as a night security guard at an abandoned theme restaurant, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, but he soon discovers that nothing at Freddy's is what it seems. Hello, you weird, beautiful movie lovers, and no, I am not, and no, I did not run a marathon. My name is Louis Akumu Phantom, and today we're talking about the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which, I have been waiting 8 years for, 9 years, if you include the game's release. So, yeah, this franchise is, I have been a fan of this franchise from the beginning, and by fan, I mean off the, couple of games. I played it when it first came out, and mainly watched Let's Plays of it, obviously, by stuff like Markiplier and everyone else like that, and obviously Matt Pat's videos on it, and I just, I'll fix it later, and, like, most of you might have had, and, yeah, and I've just, played the games a lot. I watched a lot of videos. In fact, even with my annoying orange face, don't ask about that one, you may have had one too, I remember watching the videos where they would watch a trailer for something at a movie theater, and I remember watching the FNAF ones, and I just, off the FNAF world, and, FNAF 2, I think, or maybe 3, I can't remember, and I kept on thinking, like, oh my god, is that a movie? And no, it isn't. And then later, around the VR game, I remember sleeping out with a friend because of a charity we were doing, and us waking up at 5 in the morning and watch Dan TDM's videos of the VR games. I mean, genuinely, I watched that shit a lot, back in 2019, Jesus Christ. And with FNAF Security Breach, I mean, which released, but I didn't play, I watched, like, 2 Let's Play videos off it, because I was sick, and then I just didn't really care, and also because I didn't have a PS5, and still don't, so... Yeah, and, I have been excited for this movie so much, all my life, basically, and I was so excited for it, especially with earlier this year, where I was getting such good news, where it was finally getting filmed, everything, and then it got completed, and now that I have seen it as of yesterday, and with a lot of people saying it's terrible, what did I think of it? Well... I'm not gonna lie, it is very flawed. It is very, very flawed. But, I actually enjoyed this. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie by any means. Oh no, it has a lot of flaws, with it. But, honestly, I did enjoy this movie. Maybe I'm just a little biased, but honestly, for the most part, I had a lot of fun with it, and there was a lot of stuff I appreciated with it. Starting off with, obviously, the main talking point of this movie is by far the animatronics, and they did great. They were amazing. I mean, genuinely. The Jim Henson Company is, who's responsible for it, and they did an amazing job with it. I mean, it was genuinely amazing. Their movements, they moved weirdly and clunky, but in a good way, honestly. And I loved how robotic they moved, and they were honestly pretty creepy, honestly. And also Foxy, off all of them, definitely did the most of it, but also that cupcake, Chica's Cupcake, is by far stole the show. which was actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, and they did a really great job with it. And also the sets themselves look amazing. The restaurant itself, the inside with it, the dirtiness that we get is great. And in the opening scene alone, it was also really good with horror also. I wasn't particularly scared by this movie, even with the jump scares, which are the number one thing the games probably know, maybe at least from the beginning anyways. I didn't really get scared, but still, they did do a good job with them. The atmosphere was pretty good, and also with the opening credits were just so good. I mean, genuinely, I just loved it so much. I don't know what it was about the opening credits, so I mean, genuinely, it just did a great job with it. Also, the score is by the Newton brothers, who has worked with Mike Flanagan with stuff like Doctor Sleep and other stuff, and it kind of reminds me of Stranger Things, and they did an amazing job with it, especially near the end. They also did an amazing job also, and it just kept on getting better and better, and with thrilling scenes, it also did a really great job. And may I just add also, most people, like myself, expected a lot of Easter eggs, and oh boy, there are. Jesus Christ, there is a lot. Like, a lot. I mean, genuinely, there is a lot, at least. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but still, yeah, there is a lot. Also, Matthew Lillard, who is in the movie little, the scenes that he gets, he absolutely steals the show, especially near the end, which is pretty obvious, especially for what most people, especially FNAF fans, were excited for, and knew about it. I'm not gonna say it here, just because of people who aren't familiar with it. But yeah, he did an amazing job, especially when it got near the end, honestly, and genuinely, it was really great. Also, the cameos in here, which, we know Kurori X Kenshin in here, who is in it very little. I mean, genuinely, the entire part he gets in the trailer is basically his entire scene. I mean, genuinely, and even then, it's just added on little parts, kind of like, sugar added on to ice cream, if you will, or something, or even just salt on fries, and that's just, like, tiny little bit per se, and you eat it, and that's mostly what you get out of it. But also other cameos in this movie, which I'm not gonna spoil for you, are really good. But obviously, as we know, Markiplier sadly wasn't in it, and hopefully maybe in the sequel, because, well, his schedule didn't work for his new horror movie, which I'm curious to see, honestly. Yeah. Also, Josh Hutcherson, does a really good job. While I do have some flaws with his character, he did a really great job, and his character, for the most part, was interesting, especially with the backstory he gets. That was pretty good, honestly, and I did like it. Also, Piper Rubio, who plays his sister, Abby, also did a pretty good job. She's just charming in a way, though I did have some flaws, obviously, with her performance, but still, she did do a good job for the most part. Also, Elizabeth Liley did a good job as Vanessa, even with her being a newer character off the franchise. I thought she did a really great job, honestly, and her character was also interesting, but I did wish it wasn't a little rushed as it was, especially when it's at the end, so, yeah. Also, the lighting itself looks really great, like, on the poster for the sign, that also looks, great. Regarding issues, I'm not gonna lie, this is very flawed, like a very flawed movie. First off, there is a scene in the movie which is just so... Sorry about that, I guess that was just, some water pipes. But, anyways, there's just a scene in this movie that's so stupid. So stupid. I'm not gonna say it, but, it involves, per se, a sleepover, if you will. it just frustrated me, honestly. I also wish that the animatronics were also shown more, as in, villainous, as in, like, more terrifying, because, like, for the most part, we kind of get it with the start, basically kind of being a little sweet, but we do know the horrors that they are doing, because we have seen them that the characters have not seen, but, like, just felt really out of place. Also, there is some stuff with, Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike, which I did have some issues with the subplot, involving, involving their aunt, which I will say I did like, but I wish, it was just executed a little more better, even though I did like that part of the movie. And also, with William Afton, I wish we got a little more of a motive with him, honestly, on why is he doing this. I would have liked, that maybe in the sequels or whatever, hopefully, but yeah, that just did frustrate me. Also, this is kind of more of a nitpick, but a character that kind of didn't need to die, which kind of wasn't that necessary, or, well, didn't really deserve to. That just sounds stupid saying that, but yeah, but to be exact, that does have my favorite kill in the entire movie, so, yeah, well, at least not involving, and also a certain animatronic, which I'm not gonna say for people who don't know it that much, I will say was pretty cool, and I can't wait to see that again. And also, may I just say, with this movie being Five Nights at Freddy's, I was expecting it just to be, like, at one night, which is what I was expecting, but I'm glad they did actually 5 nights, so, yeah, probably not for the sequels or whatever they're doing, but I'm not sure they'll have it, but, yeah. Overall, Five Nights at Freddy's, is it flawed? Yes, but if you are a fan of this franchise, like a humongous fanatic off it, then I would recommend it. It's fun, and it has a lot of great stuff in it, and also some stuff to appreciate. Perfect? No. Very flawed, but if you are, like I said, a fan of this franchise, I would recommend seeing it out. I did watch this at home, but I would say watch it, in theaters if you'd like. Also, there is a post-credit scene that is pretty quick, and I didn't really think much of it. It's not really that great, but, it does kind of set up a little bit on something that happens, briefly in it. Also stay for the credits for, something. Maybe I'm making it a little obvious, but yeah. Overall, I give the Five Nights at Freddy's movie a B. So, those are my thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's movie. What did you think about this movie? Did you love it, hate it? Let's agree, disagree down below in the comments. Come and tell me. Yeah, so, yeah, I didn't really have a great day yesterday. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I just blurred that out. And my next review, will be the new South Park special, which is basically a movie. Yeah, which is probably gonna be maybe a little quick, so, yeah. Anyways, that's it right now from me. Yeah, stay awesome.